Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
Hello, welcome to Politically Correct. I'm DK Singh. In this episode, I'm going to talk about the Congress party's isolation in the opposition camp and also whether the coming assembly election will see the beginning of a new phenomenon, what we call the tail wagging the dog. And the second issue I'll talk about is how the central investigation agencies have a lot at stake in these elections and why they must be watching these elections very closely. Coming to the first point. So over the past few days, we have seen how in West Bengal, where the Congress has allied with the left, and the Indian Secular Front of Furfura Sharif, Pirizada, Abbas Siddiqui, how they have allied and how there is a possibility that they might damage the Trinamool Congress's prospects in West Bengal. And this has actually started alienating the current and former allies of the Congress. So we saw how Tejasvi Yadav, who was the Congress's partner in Bihar elections, how Tejasvi Yadav went to Kolkata, met Mamata Banerjee and extended his support. Then came Akhilesh Yadav, and after that Shiv Sena supported Mamata Banerjee, calling her a Bengal tigress. In fact, on Sunday actually, when we were having lunch with the Jharkhand Chief Minister Hemant Soren, he got a call from NCP Chief Sharad Pawar. Sharad Pawar was in Ranchi. He wanted to meet the Jharkhand CM at 4:30. So that was the window was just for four hours. Hemant Soren flew down to Ranchi to be there well in time to meet Sharad Pawar. There is so much a bonhomie between the two. And before leaving actually, I was asking him, and he said that I'll be doing everything possible to help Didi. Now Jharkhand Mukti Morcha has fielded 30 candidates in West Bengal. And initially, in fact, Mamata Banerjee was pretty irked by this. But after that, they had these telephonic conversations. And that has been sorted out. So what the JMM has actually impressed upon the Trinamool leadership is that, the JMM fielding candidates in West Bengal will eventually help the Trinamool Congress, because the JMM candidates would be able to eat into the BJP's vote bank among tribal workers in the T-belt. Be as that may, what we are talking about is, how the Congress is getting pushed by its regional allies. In Tamil Nadu, on Saturday evening, in fact, Sonia Gandhi had to call up Stalin to finalize seat sharing. Because one of the senior AIADMK leaders had told these Congress interlocutors that, take it or leave it. I mean, we don't need you, you need us. That kind of blunt talk, which had driven actually one of the senior Congress leaders to tears. But DMK was not ready to cede ground, because in the past we have discussed it earlier, how in 2011 DMK had given 63 seats to the Congress, and the Congress ended up winning just 5. In 2016, Congress was given 41 seats, Congress ended up winning just 8. So this time the DMK was not going to spoil its seats or its chances to come to power just by obliging the Congress. So they took a very tough stand, and finally Sonia Gandhi had to call, and Congress had to basically, I would say, eat humble pie, because the Congress was given just 25 seats. Now 25 seats in a state where the assembly strength is 234 is virtually nothing. And given how Rahul Gandhi was so active in Tamil Nadu, he has already made 3-4 trips to Tamil Nadu. Well, this kind of offer was a bit humiliating for the Congress, but there was nothing the Congress could do. Look at other states also. Now, in Assam, where you have 126 seats, the Congress and AIDF and there are other 4-5 other parties which have allied, which have come together. Now, the Congress allotted AIDF 21 seats, 21 of 126. But yesterday, AIDF declared that it will be contesting, or it will be having friendly contests on 5 other Muslim majority seats. So the Congress is not able to control the AIUDF either. In West Bengal, the general perception that the Congress's alliance with the left would damage Mamata Banerjee, or especially their alliance with the Indian Secular Front of Abbas Siddiqui, because of the possibility of the TMC's Muslim vote bank getting a split. And that has actually upset many regional parties. And I have talked about so many regional parties coming together and extending support to Mamata Banerjee. And these are the parties which have been with the Congress. We are talking about Shiv Sena, we are talking about NCP, we are talking about even JMM in Jharkhand. we said how Tejasvi Yadav, the Congress, the Akhilesh Yadav, the former allies. Now everybody weighing in favor of Mamata Banerjee. So what did it mean? What do we see there? Post-elections, actually, depending on what results we have on the 2nd of May, it could be the beginning of, as I said, the tail wagging the dog. Ahead of 2019 elections, you might have, if you might recall, there was this huge debate. There was this talk that, probably instead of Congress putting up its prime ministerial candidate, there should be a non-Congress PM candidate. And then one senior Congress leader had said that, well, it's the dog which wags the tail. It's not the other way around. But the way you see these anti-BJP regional parties coming together, there is a possibility that if results are in favor of, say, Mamata Banerjee, and you may see some kind of regrouping happening again. And then you cannot really completely rule out the tail wagging the dog. The second point I was making is the central investigative agencies, like, say, NIA, CBI, ED, Customs Department, Income Tax Department. We have seen them. They're pretty active in this election season also. We have seen how they have questioned Mamata Banerjee's nephew, Abhishek Banerjee's wife, although in a coal pilferage case, although she is not an accused. We have seen how all the agencies are kind of probing this Kerala Infrastructure Investment Fund Board. We have seen in gold smuggling case, the central agencies have been very active. Not that it's the first time they are getting active. We have seen it consistently. There's a pattern to it. I'm not imputing any motive, but it's just that towards, as elections near, you see the agencies getting very active. I'm not even suggesting that it's happening at this particular time only or in this regime. It has been on, these agencies have been playing a role in our political system, in our elections for a long time. Regardless of what regime was in power. I can just recount you one anecdote. Way back, I think a few years back, I was a political reporter, and some of us were sitting with Prithviraj Chavan, the Minister of State in the Prime Minister's office. He was holding this Ministry of Personnel portfolio, which was with the Prime Minister. Of course, he was MOS. So one fine evening, we were sitting with him. We sat with him around, say, 7 p.m. and it was 10 p.m. He was not going home. And then finally we asked, because we had to come back and file a story. We asked him, why aren't you going home? He said, Amar Singh is waiting for me at my residence. Now, if you recall, Prithviraj Chavan won't give any details, but there were many CBI cases against SP leaders then, and also BSP leaders. And Prithviraj Chavan was somebody, he's a very honest politician. Because the SP and the BSP were supporting the UPA government from outside, and he didn't know how to deal with Amar Singh. And so he was kind of stuck at the Congress headquarters. In this election, these agencies have much at stake in terms of their impact. Impact in the sense, whenever you have investigations, you see all these politicians, their names cropping up and all the charges of corruption keep flying around. The same thing is happening in this election also. You have things in Kerala, you have things in West Bengal. But what has happened over the past few elections, you have seen these agencies actually losing the plot. So in Maharashtra, if you recall, ahead of Maharashtra Assembly election, ED had booked Sharad Pawar. And what happened? Sharad Pawar actually made it a Maratha pride issue. Sharad Pawar went on to install a government with the Shiv Sena and the Congress. That Maratha pride issue actually, that became an issue because of that ED notice. And after that, what have you heard? ED had booked him then. After that, not a single word from the ED on that issue, because it had backfired. So if it was a genuine case, we would have expected the ED to pursue it after elections. It didn't. We have seen what happened in Rajasthan when there was this instability with Sachin Pilot, then Deputy Chief Minister of Rajasthan, actually walking on with some of his MLAs and threatening to destabilize the government. You suddenly saw all these raids on the associates of Rajasthan CM. Finally, what happened? That also failed. Ashok Gehlot actually managed to survive. His government managed to survive. They are not just these two cases. You go way back, but I will not go into those details. I'm saying why I'm recalling all these instances, that these investigations that you see are being launched by central investigation agencies around the election time actually, give you the impression that probably there is something more than a probe. I'm not even saying that the people getting probed are paragons of virtue, but the timing is always suspect. But what we have seen what happened in Maharashtra, we have seen what happened even in Bihar when there was so much of hullabaloo about Sushant Singh Rajput's death. Maharashtra government, Uddhav Thackeray government had maintained that it was a case of suicide, but then BJP, JDU, all these parties maintained that no, it was a case of murder, so CBI was handed over the probe. It has been 6 months. CBI has not come out with the result. And for our country's premier investigation agencies, why should it take 6 months to decide whether it was a case of suicide or murder? Probably anyway, we should be looking forward to some kind of disclosure after this round of assembly elections. In Kerala, I don't know how it will work out, but you get bad name for launching investigations around election time. And before I end up, let me repeat, I'm not saying that those being investigated are paragons of virtue. And these things have been happening over several regimes. I'm not attributing it to any regime. But then probably it's time the Central Investigation Agency start thinking about the timing of their investigations. And the 2nd of May, probably their electoral effectiveness will also be clear.